Ahoy Rum Explorers, I'm Nia, and tonight we have a super special guest we've been trying for months and months and months since the Tampa Bay Rum Experience to connect. We're both pretty busy, but super excited to welcome David Reif from Reif Rum. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you for having me. Welcome, everybody.
Absolutely. So, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the history if you're not familiar with this incredible new rum. They're known for the sweet and the smoky, for the rebel and the wise, right?
Yeah, a little bit of
So,
both.
yeah. So, crazy story. And I was about to tell David the story, but I figured we hold on to it for you guys because this is where I talk a little bit about behind the scenes stuff that I think it's important for everybody to know. So I did go on your website, reifrum.com, just to see where I could get the room to support you. And it said the Total Wine in Boca. So I was about to drive to Boca. I had a crazy day at work. So I'm like, let me look up on Total Wine if I can find the bottle nearby. Boom, I found the bottle. I'm actually in Del Rey right now. And I found the bottle in Boynton. So I call because I'm paranoid. Sometimes inventory is off. So I call them and I'm like, hey, I'm driving to your location, but wanted to triple check that you guys have Reif Rum available. And they're like, okay, let's check. And the guy, I hear him typing, click, 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 click. Then he's like, yeah, we sure have it in stock. Get to Total Wine in Boynton, go to the rum section. Guess what? I don't see this bottle. So I'm like, I'm persistent as heck. And if you guys know anything, always remember that if you don't see the rum on the shelves, what I tell you to do is to ask for it, right? Because sometimes things could be stuck in the back, or especially bigger locations, they do like getting customer feedback. And the more you ask for a particular brand, they'll be more enticed to bring it because they see that people want it. So I asked a lady, and she's like, "Yeah, we actually just got the case yesterday." So she had to go to the back and get the case, and I was like, "Yes!" And then she's like, "How many bottles do you want?" Two. So here we are, double fisting just for you, David.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate the support. And yes, always. That's it. The key is asking, right? Because sometimes they don't know, and sometimes the best way is them just hearing people wanting it and asking for it. It helps us.
Yeah, it's great. And another funny story. So I saw this lady that was looking for like a fruity. She's like, I kind of want something like with banana and orange flavored. And she was looking for a brand that was discontinued. She was like shopping around the rum mile. And I busted out my card and I was like, hey, I'm Nia. I'm a master rummelier. Do you want me to help you find the rum with those characteristics? And she's like, yeah, sure. So we walked throughout the aisle. I was like, are you looking just for a specific flavor? Because I'm actually just grabbing a bottle of Reif Rum, and that one has banana and it has orange and it has coconut, but not coconut like spray tan, because sometimes the coconut's a little bit off like that. She said, yeah, no, I hate that. And I said, well, that one you'll like. It's fruity, but not, it has very natural flavor. So she actually took a bottle herself.
Oh, well, there you go. You're hired. You're a new sales rep.
I know,
Welcome,
right?
welcome to the team.
Yeah. So super excited to have you, David. We did manage to meet before the Tampa Bay Rum Experience, right? We met at the Miami Rum
At the
Congress.
Miami Rum Congress a year ago.
Yes. And David had his rum there, and he had his incredible rum cakes as well, which if you haven't seen David at these events, definitely don't pass by his booth because he has amazing merchandise, but has an incredible rum cake that I know you're working on like getting it out there, right?
Yeah, and we're trying to work with a big grocery chain down in Florida to be the exclusive supplier for it. That's some hopefully going to pan out. We'll see.
That's amazing. That's super, super exciting. So what inspired you to start Reef From?
So the inspiration, I like to joke that it was out of boredom and stupidity. The boredom part is this: I during COVID, like everybody else, I live in New Jersey. We got locked down, and my wife and I, like everybody else, started drinking. And she was a wine drinker, and I was a tequila drinker. And after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I got bored of just drinking the same thing. So I said, let me branch out and let me try some other spirits. So rum rum was a spirit that I always put into a cocktail, right? I never drank it straight, never found one that I liked. So when I started trying all these different rums, as delicious as they were, I could not go to a 3-year, 5-year, 18-year rum and find anything that I liked, right? It was just, it wasn't for me. So out of the boredom part, I'm like, all right, well, I can't find a rum I like. Let's go out and create one.
That's awesome.
So on Instagram, they had one of these buy a box for $35 for your bar. And the first thing they sent me was a half-liter wooden barrel, oak barrel that you could age your own spirit. Okay. So I took a bunch of rums and I started putting it in there. And I'm like, aged it for a week, aged it for 2 weeks, aged it for a month, and just playing around until we got a concoction that satisfied my sweet tooth a little bit and my desire for that smokiness. I likened it to a barbecue sauce, kind of like you get that little bit of sweetness and a little bit of smokiness. And 37 iterations later, my wife and I came up with this Reif Rum, basically at the time, and said, this is something we can drink. And at that point, we had no concept that this was going to be a business or something other than, hey, I finally created a rum that I could actually sip and I could drink. And it's a great introduction to the rum world. And then I started traveling for my day job, and I started taking the little airplane-sized bottles to my customers as, hey, here's what I did for 4 months while I was locked up and cooped up. Try it. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah.
I have over 1,000 customers. So about 500 customers in, I started getting feedback at, hey, you've got something. I've never tried a rum like this, or I've never had rum, or I'm a whiskey drinker. I could drink this. And that's where the business brain turned on. And as I say, sometimes the stupid brain, oh, maybe I should go into the rum business. This will be fun. How hard could that be? And lo and behold, years later, that's where I am.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story. So lucky number 37, right?
Yep, exactly.
So speaking of drinking, David is still recovering from Tennessee, but I'm going to do the honors. Let's wait for the best sound in the world. Ooh.
Love that sound.
Yeah. Cheers, everybody. Go ahead and grab your shots. Let's get nice and relaxed after a long day of work. And this one is 750 milliliters. Here's the bottle if you want to check it out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, see? And it's a little shorty, so you don't have to worry if you have like short shelves. Some people are like, this bottle's not gonna fit. This one will fit, guys. Okay.
Now I feel bad I don't have my glass.
Here's the color.
All
and
natural.
I'm gonna shoot this. Cheers, everyone. It's so good. And this is 35%.
Yep.
So not too much heat, but enough with the smokiness that, it's quite unique. But not too sweet, which I love.
Which is what we were trying to find. We were trying to balance that, something that had a little bit of sweetness to satisfy that craving, but yet still the sweetness didn't overpower the smokiness, right? The barrel. We wanted all that. We wanted the oak to shine through. And that's the 37 iterations later is where we were trying to balance. And then, between the coconut, the banana, the orange, just trying to find it all where one didn't overpower the other.
Right. So it's a beautiful marriage of all the elements. Would you say that's the winning combination to set your rum apart from others?
Absolutely. I think you can almost look at it. It's an aged rum. It's a spiced rum. It's got the flavors. It's a little bit of everything, and it's a balance between the three. And we look at it as it's a great way to sip a rum. If you're at the beginning of your rum journey and you don't know where to go and where to turn, and you're coming from a different spirit, or you're coming like I did from mixing a rum, how do you get into some of these other great fantastic rums but not have the burn, or looking for a little bit of that sweetness, or whatever your palate is looking for? This is what we felt was something different and not out in the market at this point. And so
great. Yeah, definitely different. And regarding like your slogan for the wise and the rebel, how did you come up with that? Is it because you're the wise and the rebel a little?
Exactly that. Basically, I was told by a lot of people in this business I'm going to fail. So the rebellion part of me is the minute I heard I was going to fail, that's the desire to do it. But wise enough to also listen to the elders and say, okay, let me hear all those reasons why I'm going to fail and let me figure out how not to do all of those things. Right. So it's, yeah, we're breaking traditional with, that's the rebel part, because I don't play within the guidelines. I like to color outside the lines a lot, but also respecting the fact of those that came before me and knowing, you know, there's a tradition that I want to follow. Just it's time to expand that tradition.
That's amazing. That's so important too. And speaking of having somebody to guide you, I originally found Reif Rum at the Florida Rum Society happy hour, and you were so kind and very vulnerable to send us samples of your original iteration, correct? Which was a little
Correct.
bit sweeter.
That was
So
it. Version 36.
yeah. So besides the obvious reason of why to participate in FRS, you know, they have at this point, I think they have 2,200 members, which is incredible exposure for a brand. What else kind of enticed you to collab with Florida Rum Society?
So I knew as I was heading there and I was bringing out this rum that I'm showcasing as, you know, not a mixing rum, as a premium rum, as a sipping rum. I wanted to get the expert opinion. Again, I go back to tradition, right? Here's all these people that know what they're talking about, know what they like, know what tradition is. I wanted to get your opinion because yes, I liked it. Yes, my friends liked it. My customers liked it. We got feedback, but I really wanted to hear what the experts say, and I wanted to take it to heart. And yeah, it was scary because I don't even think we were just launching or right before we launched.
Yeah.
And we were there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go get. I think there was 40 plus people on that call. Let me get 40 people's opinion that I value. I didn't know any of you guys, but I wanted to hear the feedback, and I knew I was setting myself up for most of it was going to be no, it's not 80 proof. No, it's too sweet. No, I knew what it was, but I wanted to hear that, and that's where I think the wise in following the tradition. I wanted to hear the feedback, and I walked away with some of it. And as you know, version 37, I changed based on that feedback, and I think that was the secret sauce, right? That was the fine line of where we were to why we are successful now, was listening to that feedback and appreciating everything I had to say. Again, a lot of it was constructive criticism, I guess is the best way to do it.
Yes.
And I'm not afraid of that. I embrace it. I want to hear those things.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm so happy you did that because I remember trying the first iteration during the happy hour, and it was a little bit too much on the sweet side. And then when I tried it at the Miami Rum Congress, I remember immediately trying it and say, "Yep, you tweaked this. You tweaked this. This is incredible. It tastes so much better. Like, it's incredible." So I guess that's what you adjusted on the rum. You adjusted the sugar content.
We significantly cut down the sugar.
Okay.
And we increased a little bit more time in the oak. The second time it was the balance, right? It was between that sweetness and the smokiness. And again, I'm not the best judge of sweetness because I have a sweet tooth. So it was very important. And again, it was important to me to hear that feedback because we didn't want to be the flavored rum out there. We didn't want to be the overly sugared rum. And it was important to hear that feedback and get from, again, the experts, what was important. What are you guys looking for? What's going to help me be successful? So if that meant taking a couple knocks, as we learned, I was okay with it.
That's amazing. That's very impressive. So can you walk us through the production of this rum?
Yeah. So, and again, I'm going to liken this as I am not the distiller, but I liken this as when I get on a plane, I know the pilot knows what he's doing. I trust what he's doing. So I have a great distiller, and it started out with this. I probably interviewed 30 plus distilleries between New York, New Jersey, and a lot in Florida. And a lot of them struggled. Well, a lot of them wanted to give me the rum they made, not the rum that I wanted.
Okay.
Right? They basically wanted to white label their rum.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't looking to do that. So when I finally found the distiller that listened to me and said, okay, I understand what you're trying to do. Let's figure out how to get there. And so it is a mix of U.S. Virgin Island rum and a mix of Floridian rum distilled in Jacksonville, aged 2 year in charred new American oak barrels, level 3. It was very important for us to get new barrels, so we had our take, like nobody else's flavors, nobody else's spices, anything. It was all just new. Aged
Okay.
2 years. We add the natural extracts. We put it back in the oak again. Take it out. We do add the little bit of sugar, and then we bottle.
Okay. And what kind of sugar are you adding?
That is a good question. It is Floridian sugarcane.
Okay. That's great. And then obviously this is a new brand. You obviously have other endeavors, but what challenges did you face and how did you overcome them?
So, well, the first challenge, of course, was finding the distiller that was going to make what we wanted. That was challenge number one. After that is we're a new brand. So now we're looking at distributors, right? And of course, the mid-sized one, the big ones, they want us to build the brand before they're even going to look at us. So now the next one is finding the distributor that's going to at least get us the product delivered. And the hard part is okay. So now we have to go out and sell it. And the next part is of course finding stores, restaurants, and bars willing to take a chance on new brands, because there's thousands of new brands out there. They all make promises. Half of them go away in a year. The bottles sit on the shelf. I get it. So I have to combat the negative, right? Right. Oh, you're a new brand. You're going to be gone in a year. Why should I bother? Nobody knows you. Why should I buy it? So, yeah. But that's the part I thrive in. I love I'm a salesman at heart. I love the challenge of selling. And so getting it into the stores, getting it into the restaurants. Okay, that was fun. It's the selling it person by person. That's the most fun, the biggest challenge, because you're literally building a brand one person at a time.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I've noticed that you and Kelly are heavily involved, boots on the ground. I constantly see you in all the events, and you're going all over the place. Like you said, I've seen your posts. You're in Key West, then you're in Miami, then I see you up north, then you come back down. That shows the true passion that you have behind this. I know it's your passion project from COVID, but it's super impressive.
Yeah, we put our heart and soul in this, and so do the people that ended up working for us. All the women, because we are a women owned company, all the women that are working for us, even though most of the time I'm the sales end of it, so you see me, all the women that are working for us, they put their heart and soul in this. And yeah, we are there because we all believe in the product, and nobody says it better than all of us that are out there doing it. And I just love seeing people's reactions to the rum, because they don't want to like it when they look at it, oh, coconut, banana, and orange, or oh, it's rum. I remember my college days. I got sick. I don't drink rum anymore.
Yeah.
So when you tell them, or even the bourbon and whiskey drinkers, when you tell them, oh, try it, it's, worst case, spit it out. We don't care. We're not going to take it personally.
Yeah.
And we call it the Reif face, because they want to not like it, and they make that face before they've even tasted it. And then they go, oh. And we're like, see? And they're like, wait a second. I didn't expect that. And that's the part that right there, it makes me happy.
That's amazing. I've seen you a lot at the Dolphins games too. Are you doing like tailgating, or what do you do?
I think we're at the
Panthers.
No, north in Tampa. So we're at the Buccaneers.
Oh, Buccaneers. That's what it is.
We do the tailgating for the Buccaneers.
Okay.
And then we are the proud partner of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Holy smoke, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that was, and to answer a lot of the stores, things, well, you guys are going to disappear in a year. No, we've made a big investment in being a partner of an NHL team, and we're here to stay, right? And we're here to get our name out, and we're in all the bars in the arena up in Tampa. We use our partnership very proudly with the Lightning. We're out there and we're promoting it, and it's great. We've got some great partnerships in the works and great partners that we currently work with.
That is quite a partnership for sure. So it's you, Carol, and Kelly that founded Reif Rum, correct?
That is correct.
And then who else is on your staff?
So we have my state manager down in Florida, Allie. Her name is Angela Allison, but we call her Allie.
Okay.
We have Amy behind the scenes that's doing, helping us with getting the company, giving the rules, regulations, and operating procedures. She's behind the scenes giving flesh to the bones that we're creating.
Okay.
We have Tana, who you probably see at a bunch of our events, who can just sell the product. She is one of our spokeswomen, and she can just sell like no tomorrow. If you never drank alcohol, she'll make you try it.
She sells ice to a penguin.
Oh, absolutely. There's Carol, we have Mike who works in the IT department, and then we just have all our boots on the ground, the women out there that are just, doing it. And a lot of them are just doing it on their time, and not for the pay at this point. They're just doing it because they believe in the product. Most of the people we have working for us or have joined our company are people I didn't know at the beginning of this journey, but they tried the product.
Yeah.
They liked the story. They met Kelly or myself at an event, and they just wanted to join our company and help. And that's when you get the volunteers and you get the people that are doing it for the fun of it or the passion of it. Those are the people that know that can sell and will make this successful because they want to be doing it. They're not having to do it.
Of course. That's incredible. Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot of women on your side. Strong female team.
Oh, absolutely.
That's great. I did notice that your rum always had a very strong design and branding. Can you tell us how that story was developed and what story you're looking to tell?
Yeah, so the branding started. So when we first sat down, Kelly and I, and we were looking to how we're going to brand this, what are we going to do? We were looking at and talking with marketing companies, and we had talked to so many of them, it started to sound the same.
Yeah.
So then we got the idea through one of my contacts that maybe we should go outside the United States. And we actually hired a Brazilian company to do it, not only just because the cost was different, but more for a perspective of, okay, we're trying to look at this market, but we want to be different than everybody else. And we want to give us the European, South American, Latin, give us a perspective that may not be showing up in all these marketing proposals.
Yeah, especially when you have all these tropical flavors in your rum, right? That totally makes sense.
So, and believe it or not, even though Reif is my last name, we struggled on the name. That was actually the last thing that came up.
Really?
Retirement rum and so many different other names.
Yeah.
And we were getting towards the crunch time and we're like, we don't have a name. And Leo from our marketing department just looks at me and he goes, David, what's your last name? And I said, Reif. And he's just got this look of like disbelief on his face. And he's like, do you think maybe? And I'm like, what's that got to do with rum, Reif? Like, I don't get it. And he's just like, Coral Reef.
Coral Reef.
You ever think about it? And I'm like, it's like the light bulb went over.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, should I change the spelling of my name? Like, should we do it Reef? And he's like, are you an idiot? Like, use what the universe has given you and do it. So, and each part of that label that you show there, it signifies something, right? The paper label, it's meant to it goes to tradition, right? It's meant to give an aged look, to go to the age. There's some fine wavy lines that the bottle you're not able to see very clearly, which represents the little bit of the rebel, right? That we color kind of outside the lines. The star, the North Star, that's our guiding principle, right? We want to give a great product. We always know that's where we're looking. We want to give something that the consumers want and that we can be proud of. So we always look at that and say that, and make sure that's always our North Star.
That's awesome. I also love that you kept the age very conservative on the label. You say 2 years, but in reality, you age a little bit more than 2 years.
We do, yeah. But we wanted to be as transparent and open with everything as that we can and not mislead or misadvertise anything. So we took the youngest part of it and said, that's what it's going to be.
That's amazing. I've heard a lot of people have issues with the TTB on the label itself. Did you have any issues with yours? I know they're sticklers for what goes on here.
The only thing they asked me to put on that, I did not have the word tropical in there. That was the word. That was the one thing they asked me to add in there. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to be that because it implies something that I'm not sure we wanted to be.
Yeah.
But now I've embraced it. I'm like, okay, this is great. We are, it's got that tropical feeling. It's got that tropical taste. It's got the aroma of it when you first pop the bottle. It's all there, right? So I'm like, okay, we are a tropical rum. So I'm actually grateful in the end for that, because that was really, I didn't have a hassle with them. That was the only request they made. So
that's amazing.
Honestly, the whole process was smooth. Again, struggled to find that distiller that wanted to do it, but overall, dealing with the TTB, getting licensed, even getting set up with the distributors wasn't that hard. As hard as I had heard it could be.
Yeah.
I always felt it was just the universe set, making this path easy, that we were on the right path.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great to hear. Yeah, I personally have heard some horror stories from smaller brands as far as either the labeling or distribution. Yeah, so that's really good to hear. I have seen you participate on TV with some interesting cocktails, also with the Tiki Man podcast in Key West. And obviously you're getting all this feedback of like food and cocktail pairings that they're using your incredible rum for. So what is your favorite as far as food and cocktails?
Well, I'm gonna be partial to the rum cake, right? And
Okay.
that's Carol's recipe, so we thank her for that.
Oh,
Um,
shoot,
it's
Carol. Carol's
yeah,
the mastermind behind the rum cake.
behind the rum cake. She did a phenomenal job coming up with that, and like I said, we've been working for over a year now to try and box it up and bring it out because it's just when we did the Miami Rum Congress a couple of weeks ago, I had actually gotten 4 emails from participants saying, "Hey, we're only coming to you if you have your rum and your rum cakes there. If you don't have your rum cakes, we're not coming."
Are you serious? Did you
Yeah,
have your rum cakes?
of course I did.
Oh, good.
I made more than I made last year, and we sold out gave away all of it before the show. We still had 2 hours left in the show by the time we ran out. We had every brand that was displaying there coming over and having it, and then we had people just standing at our booth just doing their quarter ounce shots and having the rum cakes because it pairs so well with the rum.
Yeah, and my favorite part of your rum cake is that it's very moist. I know a lot of people hate that word, but when it comes to a rum cake, that's necessary. Like I it really is disappointing when I have rum cake and it doesn't have that.
Yes. And we've been the struggle no different than the distillery, finding a bakery that can make the cake the same way. We went to a bakery, gave them the recipe, gave them our rum, and it came back. And there are some rum cakes that you just get that alcohol. It tastes like rubbing alcohol, quite honestly.
Yeah, no.
And I actually asked, did you actually use our rum in this? Like, if you
Yes.
follow my recipe, it should not taste like this. To find out that they're making what they want, not what I want.
Oh no! Even with giving them the recipe, that's
Even
terrible.
with giving them the recipe, because people don't. And I found this in things. People don't like change, right? If bakery makes rum cakes and they're successful at it, and not knocking anybody's thing, but I want what I want, and right. And so I'm very specific, and I won't launch a rum cake until I get it right. So
that's amazing. You got to stick to your guns. Stick to your guns.
And now we're working with a chef out of South Carolina, South Carolina, and we're going to be. He's working on a rum espresso tiramisu.
Holy smokes! No way.
Yep.
That sounds incredible.
Yep, that's one of the things we'll be launching as well. First, to give out to people, see how it is. So we're having fun with it. We're playing with it. It pairs great with steak, obviously with chicken. Plantains is another wonderful thing it goes with.
The rum?
The rum, absolutely.
By itself. Oh.
Saute the plantains in the rum.
Oh, okay.
And then we had a steakhouse that made a rum caramel sauce, and they used it on their cheesecake.
Wow.
And we had a local chef in my town. She used it for a barbecue sauce. And one of the things another project of mine I'd like to launch is a barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I did hear you talk about that on the is it Tiki Man podcast?
Yeah.
I heard you talk about that. I love barbecue sauce. I'm like obsessed with barbecue sauce. When I heard you say that, I was like, this in barbecue sauce, sold, super sold.
Which is, again, if you when I was looking for the flavor profile, was like a barbecue sauce, right?
Yeah.
That little bit of sweetness, a little bit of smoke.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
So, and then, cocktails, we encourage people to obviously have Reif Rum on neat or on the rocks. But if you're making cocktails, the big thing right now is our smoking after sex daiquiri, which is created for Valentine's Day, which is actually a mix of Reif Rum with some cherry syrup and mezcal and lime.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so you get all the tropical flavors, and then you get this very subtle smoky finish at the end. It's kind of just like that kind of thing, and it's doing phenomenal for the Valentine's Day promotions.
Okay, we'll be making what did you call it again, the cocktail?
Smoking after sex, which I can send you. It's on our website, it's on our Instagram and our Facebook, but I can send it to you after this as well.
Okay, sounds good. I will look it up. Well, David, I really appreciate you joining me today and collabing. I know it's been a couple months that we've been trying to connect, but I know how busy you are. And like I said, you're always boots on the ground, which is super impressive. Anytime we go to an event and just to see you there, it's always nice. Excited for the Tampa Bay Rum experience this year. I don't know if Isabel gave you the preview, but they're changing locations, and
I've heard rumors.
very, very,
I don't know when and where, but I'm excited for it.
yeah. So I hope to see you there too.
Absolutely.
And then for those of you that had stuck till the end, I'm actually going to give samples of everybody that puts down in the comment. What should we tell them to put down in the comment, David? So they can get a free sample of Reif Rum until I kill this second bottle that we're supporting David.
Wise and Rebel.
Wise and Rebel, guys. So put down in the comments down below, Wise and Rebel, and I will send you your free sample of Reif Rum to all states. So make sure you put your comment down below. And if you're not subscribed and you love these kind of content, make sure you subscribe and you don't miss out. Thank you so much, David. I look forward to seeing you soon, and I look forward to the next rum.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nia. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, David. Cheers.
Cheers.